I didn't think that I was going to do it. I didn't think I was going to embark on a year-long journey. I was 34 years old, just met a wonderful woman. My career was going well, and all of my peers, all my friends, they had their firstborn and their homes and a cat and a piano and whatever. And I thought I was going to follow suit. I thought that was where I was at, that if I had been 10 years younger, then maybe it would be an option. But when you're 34, you can't go out and spend several years on something and then come back and hope to get a job or continue a career. So I didn't think I was going to do it. I was just toying around with the idea. So I bought a map and a blue pen and a red pen, and I sat down with my sister and tried to work out what would be an ideal route if you didn't want to backtrack through too many countries, which would be time consuming, obviously. What would be good logistics in a flightless journey through every country? And then what would be a good budget? Because obviously a cup of tea in Uganda is not the same as in Switzerland. So what's a good budget? And the internet was definitely around in 2013. So lots of blogging, and you could read what other travelers were doing, what kind of budgets they had. And there's $5 budgets, $10 budgets, $20 budgets and above. And I landed on $20 per day, US dollars per day, which was to cover 4 elements: transportation, accommodation, meals, and visas. So those are the absolute necessities of such a project. Anything else is nice to have. And then what would a project name be? What kind of stuff would you pack? How much time would you spend in each country around the world? There are about 200 countries, depending on how you count, plus minus. And if you spend 7 days in every country in the world, then it's 4 years of your life. And if you spend a month in every country, then it's 16 years of your life. So you have to be a bit cautious with time management. And if you spend, let's say, 4 years and it's $20 a day, then that's a substantial amount of money. It's not in the big picture. If you can live off that kind of money for 4 years, then you're doing really well. But if you're raising it for a project, where's that going to come from? So all of these things, I was just toying with the idea. And as the months went by, I realized that, I was probably going to do it. And I had an almost fully planned project as well.
Yeah, I think doing all that planning was either going to deter you off it, or from the sounds of your mindset, you were like, it's just going to spur me on then. It's going to help me get out that door.
I was very firm on the idea that I couldn't do it because I was too old. Not old in an old person sense, but old in where do you want to be in your life? If you want to start a family, then you can't really. When you're 34, you can't. So I thought, okay, it's not going to be me. I should have done this kind of stuff when I was younger. And then eventually I realized that someday I'm going to be 44, and I'll look back and say I should have done it when I was 34. And I just so happened to be 34. So that was a big push out the door.
Yeah. So was that realization sort of helped by anyone else? Like you said, that your sister involved and you were planning it together. And were you sharing these thoughts with her? And she was like, no, don't be silly, you can do it. Or was it like a self-realization of looking back and going, look, in 10 years, I'm going to be regretting that I didn't do this?
That was a self-realization. That I had something here that I was invested in and that I was passionate about, and that I would have a hard time if 10 or 20 years down the line I would be reading about some woman or some man who did it, and I'm thinking that could have been me. That should have been me. Eventually, I brought some friends on board, and there were 4 of us, and we've worked out like how to get sponsorship and what to put on the website and graphic design and all of this stuff. So I had a little bit of help in the beginning to set off. And then I had brunch with a good friend. This is actually the turning point for me, where we had brunch and I told her, no one's gone to every country completely without flying. I've been looking into it. I think this can be done in 4 years, 3.5, 4 years maybe. And on this kind of budget. And she looked at me and she said, you have to do it. You have to do it. We can definitely find the money. I'll help you structure it. And that's when I formed this project group. So that was the tipping point.